Welcome to the Wellbeing at Work podcast, where we help you optimize all aspects of well-being in the workplace.
Welcome back to Wellbeing at Work. It's Alvy Thompson Jr., and I'm joined by my great friend and co-host for this episode, Matthew Michael Coleman. Matthew Michael, how are you feeling today?
Feeling great. Happy to be here. We get to talk about one of our favorite subjects that simply universal truth and can provide a lot of benefits for everybody listening.
100%. So I know all of you listening right now, you're probably wondering, what is this universal truth that we're going to bestow upon you all today? And it is something that you interact with every single day. It is something that you may or may not be utilizing optimally each and every single day. And we will tell you, when you do optimize it each and every day, it is going to change the way you feel, the way you perform, and ultimately how you show up day in and day out of your life. And this magical substance is water. Good old high quality H2O. Whether your knowledge about water is zero or all the way up to Bobby Boucher, and if you know that reference, shout out to you. Water can be a game changer in everything that you're looking to accomplish. One of my favorite quotes I ever heard, and it wasn't Paul Chek's quote, but it was someone that he was quoting, was that the solution to pollution is dilution. Meaning there's so many toxins that enter our body, and the easiest way to combat those toxins that end up hurting performance, making us tired, causing brain fog, causing headaches, all those types of things, is by drinking quality water. So first thing I want to do here is throw it over to you, Matt, and I want you to talk about one of the biggest ways a person can transform their well-being through proper hydration.
Yeah, I think that's a great starting point for a question. I think understanding, I love the quote you used, and maybe it's a bit difficult for people to understand like that they're polluting their bodies in a lot of ways that they may not be aware of. And through, the solution of getting the hydration, they get to rid the pollution. But really getting into one of my favorite ways to understand my body, to take control of my body at the start of the day. And this can also lead into a future episode. We'll give everybody a little teaser. To start your day, simply put, with some quality water to move anything that needs to be moved, because that's one of water's primary, drivers, is to move things around in your body, move nutrients, move vitamins, move minerals. And so starting your day with getting any stagnation, any of that pollution moving, is really an essential tool that everybody can implement and start implementing in their life right now. So,
and it's such a great point that you bring that up, especially starting the day with water, because when you sleep, you actually end up getting dehydrated in the process. And one of the biggest problems that I've seen and that I've worked with clients on is understanding that, look, you wake up, you're already in a dehydrated state. And then what do most people drink first thing when they wake up? Coffee. Mm-hmm. And coffee is another substance, because of the caffeine, that dehydrates you. So you wake up, you're in a dehydrated state, and you end up getting more dehydrated through the coffee intake that you have. So to Matt's point, when you wake up, it is so important to start off with water in the morning to get that hydration in. And then what I will say, another tip to add on top of that, is if you do drink coffee in the morning, I just finished one just now, however many ounces of coffee you drink twice the amount of water right after. So if you just had an 8-ounce coffee, you're going to want to have 16 ounces of water to, again, balance out the dehydration that happened with the caffeine.
Yeah, those are great points for sure. Alvy, another question for you. Where can somebody who doesn't even consider or think about like what quality water means, like where can they start?
Yeah, it's a great question. It's a great question. And the best place I believe to start, if you're not really drinking water at all, is to simply start drinking it, right? Like first and foremost, drink water. Once you get to the point where you're conscious of the reason why you want to be drinking water, and now you're ready to focus on quality, the first thing I'll say is get the best quality that you can afford. And typically that's going to look like getting water that's been from a spring, right? Water that if you're buying it, you don't have any type of filtration system. You want it to be in glass as opposed to plastic, because plastic has a lot of negative effects that it can have on the body, especially if that plastic has been heated up when that water was in transportation, or whether it's been sitting in a garage on a hot truck, been exposed to a lot of light. So drinking water from a glass is going to be key. Matt, what would you add on top of that in terms of thinking of quality of water and how to approach it?
Yeah, I think understanding that, quantity gets to come first, but taking baby assessments throughout the course of your day in how hopefully you're drinking from a glass that has made a significant impact in our lives and our clients' lives, many of them. But say, the best resource that you have is the bottled waters at work, and that's what you're consuming throughout your day. You get to take a couple breaks throughout the day and just take a quick assessment of how you feel, right? Like when that 2 or 3 o'clock, maybe subtle headache comes and you go right to the coffee, maybe think about how much water did I have today? Was it enough? Is this maybe a contributing factor, which it likely is? Dehydration is probably the leading cause, arguably the leading cause of those little, tension headaches and things that happen from being dehydrated. So that little assessment, I would say, throughout the course of your day, you start to feel a little lightheaded, a little nauseous, not as focused. Though a lot of these things boil right back down into dehydration. So that would be my next tip. I guess I'll pass the torch back to you, Albion. Let's get into benefits of being hydrated. I kind of just touched on a couple of them, but let's dive into that.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, one of the ones that you just said that always is so important to me is, one, have awareness around the amount of water that you're drinking, because when you have that level of awareness, you can start to tell how does your body speak to you when you don't have enough water, and also when you do have enough water. So when we're talking about quantity and simply being hydrated, most people, no, I won't say most people, many people, when they have headaches, they think they have a headache because, they have a Tylenol deficiency, right? It's like they have a headache, so they want to have some ibuprofen, some type of Tylenol to, fix that headache. When in reality, a big reason why you have that headache, to Matt's point, is because you're dehydrated. So when we talk about benefits of having water consistently and being hydrated is, one, you're going to have better energy. 2, you're going to have better focus. And 3, you're going to feel more vital. When you have enough water, when you're constantly hydrated, you're in a position where your body can perform because you're hydrated at the cellular level. When we say the cellular level, it's simply at the level of the cell. Every single cell in our body utilizes water in order for it to function in the way it is meant to function. When there's not enough water in the body, well, then the cells can't function how they're supposed to. And ultimately that shows up as negative side effects, being dehydrated, having headaches, being tired, being irritable, all of those things. So that's how I look at the benefits of water. But then, Matt, I would ask you, how would you explain to all the listeners on how to think about the quantity of water that is ideal?
Yeah, there's a simple guideline that we teach, on our team at Opti, and all of us being, coaches of high-level individuals that we all use. And that's simply thinking of your body weight in ounces and cutting that number in half. So say you weigh 200 pounds, convert that to ounces, cut that in half, and you should be consuming roughly 100 ounces of water a day. And that's a general guideline that for everybody, that we've coached, we've never gone wrong with that. Obviously, there's some variability. If the activity level goes up, if you've got a longer day at work, then it can be, considerable to maybe uptake your amount of consumption. However, that's a general scale. Body weight, convert to ounces, divide it by 2, and that's how much water you should be consuming every day, minimum.
I love that. I mean, it makes a lot of sense. Take your body weight, divide it by 2. That's how much water you should be aiming for. Matt, what would you say are tips that you would give somebody so that they can drink more water throughout the day? I mean, when I listen to a lot of the problems that people have, they say that, they just forget, right? It's just they don't think to do it. What would be some tips that you would give somebody to help them keep it more front of mind?
Yeah, I joke with all my clients and I say I can't be friends with you until you get yourself a new friend that is a hydro flask or some type of water bottle that you can befriend and have with you at all times. And it will literally become your best friend. You will perform better in all areas of your life. And it cuts out all of those excuses and things that you just mentioned, Avi. And it's new, right? For some of you listening, it might be new. So it gets to take some time and some practice, just like anything else. And you'll hear us say, throughout many of our podcast episodes, just like adding anything new, you get to practice it. So go buy a hydro flask, 32, 64 ounces. And if you think about it, if you get a 64-ounce hydro flask, most human beings only need to fill that thing up like 1.5 times throughout the course of a day. That's not that much when you think about it in that term. I got to drink 1.5 of these per day to feel optimal. So that's the golden nugget of a tip, I think, for hydration being the topic here. And I'll see if anything else comes through you, Avi. I'll pass that torch back.
Absolutely. Well, I definitely agree with what you said. It's like, have yourself a non-plastic water bottle that you can bring with you that you have constantly filled, because you don't have to remember to drink it if it's constantly there staring you in the face. So that's one tip, and I love that one the most, Matt. Another one that I would say is have specific times throughout the day where you really focus on getting water in. So to Matt's point earlier, when you wake up, do your best to get anywhere from 16 to 24 ounces in the morning, first thing that you do, right? You might want to put a little bit of lemon in there, put a little bit of sea salt in there, and you just have a hydration powerhouse to start your day. The second thing I would say is when you first get to work, right? If you're a commuter, drink some water once you get there, right? Or if you're working from home, maybe right before you really start your workday and you sit down at your desk, drink some water at that point too. And basically what I'm saying here is have planned times for water. When you wake up, when you get to work, another big amount at lunchtime, and then say you do another big amount before you leave. If you do that and you have 20 ounces each time, I mean, you're sitting at about 80 ounces before you even leave work. And then by the time you get home, you only have another maybe 20 to 60, 80 more ounces to do. But again, if you front load it and you get most of it in early in the day, and then you have a system for getting it in the rest of the day, it's going to be so much easier. And to make it really stick, again, Matt and I both touched on it, become aware to see how is this helping you? How do you feel now that you drink more water? Are you getting less headaches? Do you feel like you have more energy? Are you more focused? Is your mood improved? These are all things that can show you that hey, this thing is working. And because of that, you can continue to do it. Matt, is there any more tips that you want to leave the viewers with?
Yeah, what's coming through me is just a reminder that, we're suggesting and inviting you to consider, what your awareness levels are. And sure, maybe this is going to be new and you might not feel that different after 1 day or 2 days or 3 days, but stick with it, because hydration is one of the most vital and necessary foundational principles in every human being's life. So stick with it. Recognize that over time, you're going to start seeing benefits in your sleep and in your focus and your awareness level overall, your ability to communicate and get done with the tasks that you need to get done in an efficient manner. Hydration is gonna fuel you to higher performance, which essentially we're talking about well-being at work here. If hydration is at work, then your well-being will also be at work. So I'll peace out to you all on that. And there's much more information that we get into in our e-learning and everything else that we have on hydration. This was the surface tips that everybody can and should implement ASAP.
Absolutely. And just to wrap it up, to summarize some of the key points that we have here, the first one is that, remember, the solution to pollution is dilution, meaning when you drink water, you are cleaning your system out, which is so important. Drinking water in the beginning of the day, right when you wake up, is going to help bring you out of the dehydrated state that you're in once you raise from sleeping. You want to be getting close to half of your body weight in ounces of water each day. And again, do your best to spread the water out throughout the day by having specific points or checkpoints to drink your water. We had a blast going over hydration with you. It's so important. Get it in, do your best so that you can feel your best. And we can't wait to see how that works out for you and to catch you on the next episode of Wellbeing at Work.
If you found this podcast valuable, we invite you to check out our free checklist, the 5 action items to optimize your workplace today. You can grab yours over at www.optiwellbeing.com. That's OPTI wellbeing.com. Get yours now, and we'll see you there.